The sun sets in America. What will happen in the darkness of uncertainty? But when the sun rises, will it bring unity? But darkness only makes the light shine brighter. Darkness only makes the brave fight harder. Darkness only makes the true heart stronger. Darkness only makes the lion roar, loud for all the world to hear. You are the spark that spreads the flame. You are that tiny light in the darkness, illuminating that great dark cavern of shifting ash, covering smoldering embers that you never knew were there because you never thought to look. The light you shine comes back to you, is echoed in the glowing symphony of growing energy. Then one by one, they ignite from within, each one burning with a different light. That sparkling sea of spirit flame stretches outward toward the horizon. A wave of sparks, of light, of hope rises up to meet the stars, and that chain of fire jumps across borders and time and lives, rising up in a revolution. Because humanity is catching fire with the desire to truly be free.
My spark is at the Y. It is family, friends, and I like playing with everyone.
My spark is working to build a better future.
My spark is working with children because I love working with kids and they just light up my heart.
I think my spark is giving back to the kids and giving them what I was able to get from the Y at a young age.
My spark would have to be people, the people that I see here and I meet here. That's my spark.
My spark is my 7 grandchildren. And so for them, I joined the Y to stay energetic, strong, and active. And for you grandparents, remember, for your grandchildren, you're the spark.
Welcome to the YMCA of Greater Boston's 2020 Spark Celebration. I'm Chelsea McDonald, sports reporter for WHDH Channel 7 News. It is such a privilege to be here tonight and to host this important event. As many of you may know, the Y usually holds this celebration in person in a big ballroom with much fanfare and fellowship. Because of the coronavirus, we've been asked to reimagine how we do things to prioritize health and keep everyone safe to stop the spread. So we are celebrating Spark virtually with a new format that captures the essence of our work and the world we are living in. Tonight, we have the tremendous opportunity to participate in a courageous conversation with the Boston Celtics brought together by the Y. There are so many wonderful viewers with us tonight. It is no surprise that an organization like the Y can rally so many people together for the good of others. They've been doing it for almost 170 years. Did you know that the YMCA of Greater Boston is America's first Y? Yes, it's true. You are change makers by nature, Boston, and the Spark Celebration is the opportunity for all of us to make an impact. On behalf of all the children, families, and essential workers, we are calling on you to shine on, Boston. We see your spark. And we know that tonight we can be courageous and collectively rise up and transform our community together. Thank you again for being here. And now I'd like to turn it over to the president and CEO of the YMCA of Greater Boston, James Morton.
Thank you, Chelsea, and good evening, everyone. I am here on top of the YMCA. We may be meeting virtually, but I promise you that tonight you will feel the love the Y has for those with whom we partner to make Boston greater for all of us. I am so grateful to the Boston Celtics, to head coach Brad Stevens, and to Alliston Feaster for their willingness to participate in a courageous conversation on race and equity. a subject that has gripped our nation and which has been magnified in these times of COVID-19. In times of great challenge, we are asked to harness our fears and build the courage and resolve to meet the challenges head on. And this is one of those times. In these times of incredible hardship and despair, we are called upon to take care of each other, to love one another, and we are called upon to reimagine what is possible. I am proud to stand before you tonight and to share that we, the YMCA of Greater Boston, have joined a community of caregivers to demonstrate our collective commitment to supporting the health, education, and welfare of the children and the families and seniors that we serve in Greater Boston, especially in these extraordinary times. As always, we have partnered with others to put people first, listen and then serve, and inspire hope. And we are humbled and grateful to have relationships with many of the individuals and organizations who share our commitment to spreading hope and light in the darkest of times. I'm proud of our work, I'm proud of our talented team, and I'm proud of the courage and boldness of our General Board, all of which has enabled us to act swiftly and decisively over the last 9 months. Let me share some of what we've been able to accomplish. But of course, this work would not have been possible without this incredible group of partners. Please join me in thanking them. While we reimagine ourselves and our systems and institutions, we must pause and ask one question. Is there more we can do to create a community, a city, a state, and a country that we can be proud of? It has been a very tough year for all of us. And we, all of us, have done a great job of taking care of one another. It has been a year filled with pain and suffering, a year of great loss, a year of fear and uncertainty for all. It has been a year of death and dying, a year of increased poverty, hunger, and hopelessness, and the coronavirus has simply highlighted and dramatized the disparities in health and wealth and education. And we have witnessed the impact of systemic racism. We have been shattered by the death of mostly black men at the hands of law enforcement, and we have seen their families and communities devastated by the loss. And in almost every case, we've asked ourselves the same two questions. One, why did this situation end in death? And question number two, how can we prevent this senseless loss of life from happening again? These questions have placed matters of race, equity, and justice before us, and as an organization committed to being an anti-racist organization, we welcome the opportunity to partake in the conversation that's going to happen momentarily. These are not easy conversations. They are courageous conversations. They are also necessary conversations if we are to create a better America. Tonight, we illuminate the issues and celebrate our ability to spark change. And as Chelsea said, the children, the families, and essential workers are calling upon us and you to shine on Boston, to ignite positive change, and to show us your spark. All of this is driven by our commitment to put people first, listen and then serve, and inspire hope, all for a better us. And if you feel the love that's in our hearts and want to join us, please feel free to make a donation of any amount at any time during the program. You see, your support enables us to do more, and we are stronger in that sense together. I love you and thank you, and please enjoy the evening.
My name is Bexy Perez. I am the Association Director for Child Development for the YMCA of Greater Boston. I support the community learning centers throughout the city of Boston, more specifically in the regions of East Boston, Hyde Park, and Dorchester. The community learning centers are programs that we offer through the YMCA, where children come into our programs and we support them through their remote learning throughout the day. We support students academically through their Zoom links or any academic activities that they have throughout the day with their teachers. After the school day is over, our YMCA staff provide enrichment activities until 5 o'clock and the kids then get picked up. While they're in our program, in addition to the academic support that we offer, the kids have access to healthy meals throughout the day, so we provide breakfast, lunch, and snack. We definitely provide the concept of home away from home. Our children come to our programs at 8 a.m. sharp. They come in, they've been able to establish trusting relationships with the staff that are here in our programs. They have really relied on our staff as kind of like that second parent that comes into their lives every day to be able to support them academically, emotionally, and being able to just be that extra set of eyes that can support them during this time. We're able to establish that home setting in our programs, and they just feel safe and comfortable and loved with us. I think we can see the difference that we're making, and knowing that whatever resources that we can have and are able to have, we welcome them, because we only want to be able to continue to support our communities and be able to provide a lot more than we currently are doing.
Thank you for those inspiring words. You have made so clear the home away from home atmosphere that the Y provides for so many families, children, and young people. And now is the moment we ask that you think about what you can donate to the Y to keep our program strong, to keep our children safe and eager to learn, to keep our teenagers engaged and productive, and to fill our parents with the confidence that the Y is exactly the right place for their family. We need resources to keep our programs thriving, and I want you to think about what resources you can share tonight. Please hit that donate button to the left of this video and be part of building a strong and stable future for the Y. And remember, a $50 donation provides 10 boxes of hygiene products to help keep families healthy in Greater Boston. A $100 donation supplies paint, brushes, and other art supplies for our classrooms. A $250 donation provides 100 bags of groceries to feed hungry families. A $500 donation can fund one of the YMCA's 70 food sites in Boston for one day, including the staff and other costs associated with operating the site. And a $1,250 donation provides financial assistance for 2 months of care for working families in one of our early education centers. Thank you so much for supporting the Y.
Good evening. My name is Bill Parent, President and CEO of Envision Bank and Chair of the YMCA of Greater Boston's General Board of Directors. On behalf of my fellow board members, I'd like to thank you for joining us tonight for Spark. I'm coming to you from one of our YMCA branches, which are open and serving the community safely. As you heard James share, this year, the Y quickly mobilized to meet the unprecedented challenges facing our community because of the COVID-19 pandemic. This level of response was only possible because of the generosity of our committed supporters. We are especially grateful to the Liberty Mutual Foundation for their extraordinary generosity to the YMCA during our COVID response. Tonight's event will raise more than $350,000 to continue to support these relief efforts and ensure our Ys can continue to meet the upcoming needs of this crisis. We are grateful for your ongoing commitment to our work. It is my pleasure now to thank our event sponsors. Finally, I'd like to end by thanking all of you again. You have made tremendous sacrifices this year to ensure the safety of your families, your community, and to protect all of us. To recognize the strength of our community and the way we have all joined together during this time, we are lighting up the top of the Prudential Center in the colors of Spark. Thank you to Boston Properties and the Prudential Center for providing this opportunity to shine upon Boston. We're truly stronger together.
Now we are ready for some straight talk with two very important leaders from the Boston Celtics who live and breathe our favorite game every day, basketball. Did you know that basketball and the Y have a long history together? Basketball was invented at the YMCA in Springfield, Massachusetts. We've come a long way since that winter in 1892. Basketball has become an international sport, and it still lives at the heart of the Y today, as represented by the long-standing partnership the Y has enjoyed with the Boston Celtics. Together with corporate partners such as Sun Life, the Y and the Boston Celtics are helping youth develop the building blocks for healthy and active lifestyles through our Junior Celtics and Fit to Win youth programs. So the Y is tight with the Celtics all year long, and it's this close relationship that allows us to have this frank and honest, courageous conversation tonight about race and equity. Following the death of George Floyd this spring, thousands of demonstrators took to the streets in cities across the country. In the NBA, players and coaches used the bubble as a platform to raise awareness of the Black Lives Matter movement. As an organization committed to eliminating poverty and racism in Greater Boston, the Y felt this was an important conversation to have as we reflect on 2020. And there is no one better to have these conversations with than Brad Stevens, head coach for the Boston Celtics, and Allison Feaster, director of player development and personal growth. Okay, Coach, let's get started with you. Why has the NBA put a stake in the ground as it relates to race and equity issues?
Well, I think first and foremost, it's very important to all of us to think about what we can do to address all of the different challenges within society, and certainly those that have been widely discussed recently. And, we are a league, a group of people that want to make sure that we're doing what's right, we're standing for what's right, and that we are active in doing so. And I think, we've had great leadership from, not only the NBA as a whole, but the players obviously have been incredible. The other coaches I've learned so much from, and just a ton of people across the league that I think just really care about doing the right thing and want to make sure that they are using whatever platform we all have to positively promote lasting change.
I agree. A positive platform is huge. And I know you all, as the Boston Celtics organization, have that kind of platform. So why have the Celtics chosen to establish Boston Celtics United for a Social Justice Fund as an organization? And why are you all doing this?
It's a really a source of pride that, you know, our organization has really stepped up and listened to our players' voices first and foremost. Listen to our players' voices and the voices of the broader community. We're first and foremost, I believe, apart from being a basketball team, we're a community organization, and we want to make sure we represent the community in which we, you know, work and live. You know, our investor group got together with some key staff members, Dave Hoffman on the community engagement side, Coach Stevens, and a number of our players, and just sat down, you know, when the horrible events around George Floyd's murder took place and some of the other unfortunate incidents that took place, Breonna Taylor and Ahmaud Arbery. We wanted to make sure we were on the right side and we were aligned with what our community was saying. And we were able to put together, you know, a very comprehensive initiative in which not only, you know, I guess the charitable arm of our organization is involved, but we've been able to, you know, get a lot of volunteers across our organization involved and really, you know, looking to make an impact. So.
Coach Stevens, could you also talk about your personal journey to becoming an ally? What's been your journey as a college coach to professional coach, and how does that relate to your work today? How does it make you a better coach and mentor?
I think I've been really lucky, and I've said this multiple times, to be a part of teams and be a part of diverse groups because of basketball most of my life. And I think that would probably be number one for me. You know, growing up and then obviously having a chance to coach over the last 21 years and, you know, really seeing a diverse group of people, not only racially, but also, you know, we've got several international players, different religions, all the way across the board. Right. And I think that the most important thing that we all can do is, as we take a step back and try to evaluate how we can best help others, is to try to walk in someone else's shoes, even just for a minute, or think about that. And I think one of the things, as Allison mentioned, especially after the George Floyd murder, you know, we spent a lot of time as a staff, as a group, together, certainly me individually, as a family, right? Searching on how we can be more helpful, how we can be better in, as you say, being an ally, but using, again, whatever platform we have to be a voice for good, to be a voice for the right side of this.
And Allison, could you talk about your journey through professional sports as a player and now the VP of Player Operations? And how have you encountered race and equity issues in your career?
You know, it's interesting that I'm really fortunate to be the recipient of, you know, opportunities based and built on, you know, the efforts of those that have come before me. So many people have sacrificed years and years of hard work and of themselves so that, you know, we as young, you know, African-American women specifically can have these opportunities. And I'm just thankful to be in this position, and we'll continue to help our guys do their part, to use their platform to continue to be beacons for their community and, you know, and for those looking to be where they are in the future.
For both of you, what did you all see in the bubble in regards to race, equity, and Black Lives Matter?
And I would say one of the most, you know, kind of the behind the scenes moment of the bubble for us was not only the putting Black Lives Matter on the court, but also the back of the jersey. But there were limited options of what guys could put on the back of their jersey. So Allison had a great exercise for our players where she asked each of them to share 2 at a time. So on different days, coaches and players, what you would put on the back of your jersey if you could put anything, right? And I think that those exercises brought out some really incredible moments that I'll look back on as some of the most fond memories of the bubble, just learning more about those people. And they were, you know, obviously a lot of tough stuff and a lot of stuff that is, you know, really, again, makes you think. But, you know, the depth of that sharing was special to be in that room of 35 or 37 people on our team.
We know the bubble was designed to keep players healthy and virus-free, but great efforts were made to use it to advance racial equity and the Black Lives Matter movement. What did you all see and feel as part of the bubble experience on top of basketball?
Well, I'll just say briefly, one of my favorite parts of the bubble was watching the post-game interviews when LeBron James, Jamal Murray, Jaylen Brown, and many others not only took the microphone to reflect on the game and on their performance, they used it as a moment to express what they really were feeling in such a tense moment. And I'll never forget those interviews because they were extremely powerful.
For both of you, what do you all see as the most pressing issues in our community around race and equity?
I was having a conversation the other day with a stakeholder who's helping us with the initiative. And everyone is so eager to step up with making donations, but there are really systemic issues that we have to address, not just, throwing money at it, but really, understanding where the system is broken. So I think that's the most pressing thing we have to do is to break cycles and to really forge a new path forward.
And probably to do so in every individual interaction you have, right? And anything that you can control. And I think that just making sure that you're an ally in every which way, from my standpoint or from somebody that looks like me standpoint, and making sure that, we're doing everything we can to advance and make sure that we, again, create things that are long lasting, overall.
And what do you think each of us can do as individuals to bring our community together and advance equality? I know, Coach Stevens, you mentioned being an ally to the Black Lives Matter movement. And Allison, you also said that we need to break the cycle of systemic racism. But what do you all think we all can do in order to move forward?
Yeah, I would go back to I think it starts with who you are on a daily basis, who you are in every interaction, what you really stand for, what you're really about. And, as we've noticed just in our work with, establishing the Celtics United and the 6 pillars that are under it, there is a lot of work to do. And there are a lot of things that we can all throw our hat in the ring to help with. But we need to make sure that we're all doing our small part first. This is one of the things I noticed about the NBA and being down in the bubble and using the opportunity to really speak up was that it was really hitting back home. And, I think I probably noticed that best because my 11-year-old and 15-year-old are always asking me about that, right? They're always asking me about the person that did the interview after the game. They're always asking me about Jaylen's press conference after practice. And I think that that's cool. And that means that there are strides being made. But as we said, there's a lot to do. And as Allison mentioned earlier, as a community organization, we feel like we have a responsibility in helping advance that.
And Coach, I know that you saw Jaylen Brown and Marcus Smart attend some of the rallies and the protests that were going on across the summertime. How proud were you of them to be able to go out there and voice their concerns and things of that nature?
Them and several others, staff and players. And I think first of all, that's who they are. Right. They're very passionate. They're very thoughtful. They really care. Again, they're about what's right. And, I appreciate them for a lot of things, but, certainly that's at the top of the list.
With the pandemic, we see huge educational disparities impacting Black and Brown communities. What role can the Celtics and the Y play in expanding educational opportunities?
And the Y's obviously done a great job of stepping up in that way with providing the nutritional resources, but also then the time, the extra time and educational tools while their parents are at work. And I think that's, we are proud to support, any number of different organizations across the city that are helping people out in this time. But certainly what the Y has done is something we're proud to be a part of.
Okay, is there anything else you two would like to say about the Black Lives Matter movement, racial issues, and equity?
Yeah, and I just think it's all of our responsibility to do the work ahead. And I think we take that responsibility seriously, and we're going to put our best foot forward in that.
Thanks so much, Coach and Allison, for your candor and directness as we talked about these tough issues. We are so grateful for your courageous leadership. After being so energized by these leaders, I ask you once again to think about how you can support the programs of the Y by making a donation tonight to support our fight for social justice. Hit the donate button to the left of this video to make a gift that is meaningful to you. Join our team of supporters who are making a difference in thousands of lives every day. Now we are going to bounce to our finale. Our special guest performer is the child of immigrants from China. She grew up playing classical piano, but found her groove as an independent artist, writing her own material. She gained national recognition in 2017 at the Women's March on Washington when her song Quiet became the instant anthem of the movement. We are delighted to have her with us tonight to sing her hit song, If I Ruled the World. Please welcome Milk.
If I ruled the world, if I ruled the world, ruled the world, ruled the world, I'd give the power to the people, everybody would be equal. Fight Club would have a sequel, and my rent would be much cheaper. Jenny wouldn't hate her figure when she's small or when she's bigger. She'd be kissing on the mirror, and the Wi-Fi would be quicker. Everybody would recycle, fewer cars and more bicycles. No more fighting for survival. You would hear this song on vinyl. If I ruled the world, if I ruled the world, ruled the world, ruled the world, you'd see a doctor if you're sick. Mary, don't you worry about it, 'cause there'd be no crazy bill, no more $1,000 bills, and age would be a source of pride. You've got beautiful lifelines, 9 to 5 includes your nap time, and there be dead talks at halftime. All the sexist, racist bandits would be sent off for rehab, and instead of feeding fear, we'd be feeding half the planet. Damn it, if I ruled the world, if I ruled the world, ruled the world, ruled the world, if I ruled the world, if I ruled the world, ruled the world, ruled the world, if I ruled, it would be less about me, more about you, more about you. If I ruled, it would be less about me, more about you, more about you. We'd be kind to refugees, plant more trees in inner cities. We'd bus kids to see the ocean, some kids never see the ocean. I'd make news more beneficial, I'd make every driver signal. Only love is my perspective, only love is my objective. I keep music in the schools and hear every point of view. If I ruled, it would be less about me, more about you. If I ruled. All right, YMCA. If I ruled the world, ruled the world, ruled the world. If I ruled the world, if I ruled the world, ruled the world, ruled the world, it would be less about me. It would be more about you. It would be less about me.
Thank you, Milk. That was so inspiring. It's been great to be with all of you tonight. Thank you for joining us and for your support of the Y. Let's follow the lead of the Celtics and all do our part to build a better and brighter world. Boston and beyond, we see your spark.